Okay, so if you watched my live stream yesterday, we talked a little bit about the Tommy Robinson situation. And I also mentioned that a lot of my video topics are because of you, because of many of you reach out to me via email or on Twitter and ask me to cover a story. Now, this is one that a lot of you did. I probably had more than 100 people reach out to me just here on TheQuartering, but surprisingly, on my Magic the Gathering channel on Slate Media, I had probably another 20 or so people DMing me or emailing me, asking me to cover this story. And in a lot of ways, it was heartbreaking that people seemed really desperate to get some coverage. And this is something that is also an honor for me. This isn't something I would normally cover. It's something that I have been vocal about on Twitter about not really knowing how to take this. But let me give you a 30,000-foot view of what's going on in the UK with their justice system and the arrest of Tommy Robinson yesterday, unceremoniously received what I can tell is basically no trial, sentenced to 13 months in prison where he is likely to have to fight for his life every single day. I think there are significant odds that he will perish in there. This is a man that has put his life at risk to cover the disgusting state of grooming gangs and things of the sort, the state of how Britain doesn't belong to the Britons anymore, the Brits, and how mass immigration has led to roaming, violent, disgusting humans receiving really no media coverage. In fact, from what I can tell, he was on site covering the trial of a grooming gang. These are people that look for young girls, 10, 11, and target them with horrendous intents. And you can't cover this. The news can't cover it there because I don't know, because it gives other people that might look like them a bad rap, apparently. As an American, this is insane to me, and this is really the only way. I've been externally processing this all day. So he was on site. He hadn't said anything that wasn't already in the public eye, published in the newspaper. He was live streaming when 5 or 6 police officers showed up and arrested him, took him to jail, where he is now serving a 13-month sentence for reporting on crime, trying to keep the citizens safe, trying to protect his country, men and women. This is something that is incomprehensible to me. As somebody who has reported on similar types of people on my own channel, I have had conversations with people whom I consider friends that live in the UK that simply have flat out told me they cannot make a video about this because they will go to jail. The police will show up at their door and arrest them. And now if you're in America, you might think, this sounds absurd, this sounds alarmist. I assure you, it is not. Watch the video for yourself. A great video from a political standpoint is Styx Hexenhammer, which I will link in the video in the description below, where he covers kind of everything from a political standpoint and the authoritarian state of the UK government. And what I wanted to talk about is how this has affected my state of mind in the last 48 hours. What kinds of things are going through my mind. And how painfully clear that our freedoms are not taken all at once often. They're eroded slowly over time. And this is why freedom of speech must absolutely be protected in this country and in any country where it is, should be, and where it isn't, it should be fought for. These types of things are slowly eroded over time until such a point where you have somebody who teaches their dog a trick facing prison. This is not a joke. This is real life for people that live there. And you might ask why I'm taking it so seriously. Well, because I have a lot of friends and family, subscriber family, that lives under these governments. I have friends of mine that live in the UK. And I know they literally cannot speak up about it. There is a media blackout. Nobody's covering the Tommy Robinson situation from what I can tell. This is insanity. If this sort of thing happened in the United States, I would like to think there would be 100,000 people marching on it. Now, I know people are out protesting today in Britain, and that's what they have to do. But this is also a really, really, really clear example on why voting is so important. You have to vote, people. You have to get involved because these people slide into power. They erode your rights, and they use that authoritarian government to control you. Make no mistake about it, Tommy Robinson is a political prisoner. They put him in jail, in my opinion, to make a statement. I would not be surprised if there are people in the government that know he is likely to be killed in there. At the very least, they know this sends a message to anyone who would dare report on the safety of their own citizens that you will be arrested and put in prison. You might be saying to me, Jeremy, that sounds a little like hyperbole where he is likely to lose his life in jail. I would point you to a real-life example where Kevin Crehan, a 35-year-old man, was sentenced to a year in prison for placing a bacon sandwich outside of a mosque. This is not a joke. I feel like I have to keep qualifying that. What I think is a pretty funny meme put this man in prison for a year. You know what happened during his prison sentence? He was killed. The man placed a bacon sandwich on a mosque, in front of a mosque, and he was killed for it while in prison. I don't know how else. It's like, normally I like to kind of ham it up a little bit and throw in a few memes, a few laughs. But I don't know how to portray the absurdity any better than just laying out exactly what is happening. He put a bacon sandwich in front of a church, was sent to prison for a year, and killed there. Now, I want you to tell me that saying the same will happen to Tommy Robinson is unlikely. And by the way, Tommy Robinson is an outspoken man. He is a marked man in there. Those that would sentence him to jail know this. He is not a regular citizen going into jail. He is marked. He will be fighting for his life from day one. And it's made me, and I'm sorry for the off-the-cuff, I'm really still externally processing this together because I don't know what to do. It makes me question my own convictions. If this happened in the United States, would I take off work and drive to the Capitol? That's a question you have to be prepared to answer. How far would you be willing to go to protect your freedoms? And if you are unprepared to do what it will take to protect your freedoms, then you have to get involved politically. You must become educated on who's running your country, who's making the decisions for you. Because if you are not, you will be faced with what many Britons have, the reality that they have to face now, where people who place a meme, who do an in real life meme, get killed for it. This is a decision that they have to face in everyday life. And it makes me sad for them. It also makes me extraordinarily proud to be an American. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy to say out loud, but the very fact that I really have a hard time even processing what's going on in the UK shows how thankful I should be. And I have no problem saying it out loud. And I know in real life things for faggots, doing in real life stuff is gay and lame. Great. It's easy to say that when you have the freedoms that protect you, the anonymity. But when they come for you, you'll wish that you did something in real life. You'll wish that you got educated on who is running for office in your area. And it starts in the small towns. It starts in the cities. It starts at the state level in the United States. You have to be aware of what people's stances on things like free speech and your Second Amendment rights. Because if you don't pay attention, if you don't get involved every single day, this is a possible outcome. You look at the UK and you think, you know, oh, they must be kind of like us in America. They've got the same similar freedoms. No, they don't. Look at what's happening to Australia, which is an extension of their government in many ways. They don't have a Democrat and Republican side of government. They have left and further left. Democrats and like communists. And the very fact that people are rightfully scared to report on this. I judge no man or woman who doesn't publish a story, because I don't know if I have the conviction to put my life on the line. I don't know. It'd be easy for me to sit here and say, pussies, I'd do it. That's easy for me to say. All I can ask is, if you're in the UK or if you're in Australia, for example, that you get the message out, that you share this video, that you look at Sticks, Hex, and Hammer's video. Lauren Southern did a video on it. And I don't give a fuck if you agree or disagree with their politics. I think they're accurately reporting on the situation, and the message should be spread. And the people in the UK need to hit the streets. Because if you don't fight back against this authoritarianism, your Orwellian life will continue to head down that path. You have my support, friends and family in the UK, if in any way I can. I don't know what I can do, but I'll continue to report on it at the very least. Tommy, he has a family. He's just, in my opinion, trying to do what's right for his countrymen and women. Something that I respect a whole hell of a lot.